There's something soothing yet magical about making bread. The simplest, age-old ingredients come alive, requiring nothing more than a little tension and time to create a springy, supple dough, far greater than the sum of its parts. The process became my oasis. It was a time out from my digitized workplace, an escape from my to-do lists, a release from the pressures to optimize, to push, to hustle. As a video journalist in Washington, D.C., the stress felt inescapable. Every day at work, I was sucked into the nonstop pace of news. The cycle would spit me back out at the end of the day, feeling a little bit less myself.
Breaking news tonight on multiple fronts.
Mr. Chairman, order!
You're getting obstruct.
Raise your right hand.
Mr. President, if I may ask one other question.
It's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
I internalized that rush of constant motion. I was perpetually on the go, to squeeze out another task, to fit in one more meeting, to fill up the last free day on the calendar, thinking that if I just did that, I would reach the pinnacle and feel at peace. But I never did. And then one day, I quit. I packed up my apartment, I got on a plane, and then another one, and I started baking bread in Alaska, in a seasonal job at a small-town bakery I found through an ad online. I didn't have a grand plan, a return ticket, or even health insurance. I didn't have a name for it then, but I was burned out. That feeling of inescapable pressure is shameful and lonely, but more than 60% of full-time employees report feeling burned out at work at least sometimes, and nearly a quarter say it's chronic. If we're the burnout generation, why was it so hard for me to recognize it until I hit my breaking point? Was it inevitable? And did I make the right decision? So I set out to talk to other people who had felt and studied the same thing, with all different sorts of situations and stress, and come out the other side.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. There's something about our current idea of productivity, especially online, that I think really privileges visibility, like having visible results. And it casts, unfortunately, not only reflection and observation, but also things like sleep or anything like care, maintenance, self-care, like all of these things start to look really luxurious from a point of view in which time is exactly money. You could try to take a day off and it feels expensive. Like that, I think that's really telling about like how we view time.
Maybe that's why I turned to sourdough. It fulfills that need to produce, but in a tactile, analog setting that can't be rushed or optimized. It's better when slowed down. Flavor develops, gluten strengthens, and the bread rises. And then, after a loaf is pulled crackling out from the oven, it's devoured. There's nothing to show for my work but breadcrumbs.
I mean, in a way, you've already taken the advice that I would give, really, in a very bold way. It's almost like what psychiatrists would call a confusional state. You become so identified with what you're doing that you lose any sense of who you actually are.
Josh has seen more and more patients suffering from burnout in recent years. He said that a long-term, structured timeout can be a good way to escape from the crushing cycle of permanent distraction and activity, and to disconnect your sense of identity from your job.
You know, you said at the beginning, I don't know if there's any particular significance about bread, but of course the symbolic significance of bread is massive. The sense that, in a way, it's the sum zero of survival and what you can live on. And it's obviously so often the sort of favoured metaphor for survival is bread.
Bread did become my sum zero, in a way. And with bread, there are inherent built-in boundaries. There's no leakiness between work and leisure, as Josh would say. No bringing home work or ongoing online chats throughout the day either. While baking bread day in and day out, I felt clearer and lighter than I had in a long time. Completing my daily tasks gave me a sense of fulfillment again, and feeding people, seeing the satisfaction my loaves could create, became addictive.
It sounds cliche that bread has been a part of like human civilization for 14,000 years or something, but you know, there's some kind of lineage there to the labor of bread that like connects you to all that like early human stuff that doesn't involve sitting in front of a screen.
4 months later, my time in Alaska has ended. I'm back in DC, and I'm sticking with bread. I don't know how long I'll keep baking or what's next. And that's okay. Life isn't linear. My detour helped me rebuild my identity beyond my job title and disconnect my sense of worth from my productivity. It showed me a different way to live, with boundaries and with bread, not burnout.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.